everyone and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division in the Origin Links tournament. This video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so let's go. First and foremost, down below you will be able to see direct time link for all the holes in this playthrough, so you can skip or you can go back like in an easy way. We're going to start off by playing with the Thor's Hammer here. I would say that you can play with the Thor's Hammer, the quarterback, the rock, doesn't really matter. We do have straight headwind here. We need to really be aware of the ball guideline here as it's going to be compressed. 4 bars of backspin, and as you can see we are in minimum distance of our club, but we are going to adjust our shot for being in maximum distance, and then we're going to add just a tiny little bit more. So we're going with 8 rings, and we are also adding, so we are adding around 0.3 to 0.5 miles per hour on the wind there to get this adjustment. When it comes to the ball that we're using a Power 2 ball, which is the hat-trick ball, and the hat-trick ball was a limited edition ball and you may not have it. If you're not having a ball with Power 2, then you can go with a Power 3 as a Kingmaker. You can go with Power 1 as some of the most wind resistant ball like a Bandera and stuff like that. So it's important for me to explain that as well, so you're not feeling it's required to play with a Power 2 ball. But if you do have it, then I would play with that one actually, because it do reduce the wind as well at the same time. And many of the players in Master do have some sort of a wind resistant ball, but if you don't have it, you will not be just be out of the game just because of that. So as you can see that we went really close, came in just maybe a little bit hot, maybe we want to add just a tiny little bit there, but in the end happy with the adjustment, and then maybe the next time we're going to make that one to drop. So either Thor's Hammer, quarterback, rock, due to having accuracy and ball guides easy to adjust, and also having the ball guideline to help us there. Hole number 2, going to go to hole number 2 directly here, par 5, and here we're going to use a Power 4 ball, and Power 4 ball is a dead ball or a royal ball. We are playing with a dead ball. You can play with a Kingmaker as well. It's not required to have Power 4 ball, but it helps you to get that little bit tiny extra adjustment there. We're going to go with 6 bars topspin and max side spin to the right. We're going to adjust this one as we're playing downhill, so we're going to add 20% of our adjustment here. So we're going to go with 5 rings first, and using take shot button, and then going with a total of 9.5 rings with our Apocalypse level 5. Then we're going to go with half a ball of curl outside the ring. Half a ball of curl, we hit the middle there, makes a perfect bounce, coming in to the right a little bit there, not getting too far either. And I think that is also a key in this particular situation, to not go too far, because now we are not having the trees in play, and now we can really go for the pin. And that is the thing that I see many do as a mistake, me included many of the times, when you do, okay, now it's time to just go as far as possible, but the game makers has been very spot on in the way to put some trees there in the line that we do have the second shot, so we need to be aware of that as well. So I do find 5 to 6 bar of topspin, so go with 5 or you go with 5. Go with 5 or you go with 6. I would say 6 if you're using a Kingmaker. 5 could be good with a dead ball. You adjust for the shot to be 20% more than maximum, than your maximum rings that you do have. So therefore we used 9.5 rings. So our opponent is making the same type of shot, getting it out there nicely, and has a good distance as well. And now you maybe think, okay, you're playing Master, now you maybe need to use some distance with your second shot. No, we don't. We're actually going to play with the sniper here, because we're going to have the distance for it, as even though we went short. 1 bar of top is my general standpoint in this particular situation. The reason for that is that we're going to curl against the wind. The reason we do that again is that we're curling against the wind, we're going to lose distance, and then we need to have that in mind while bouncing over towards the green. So we're going to go for a little bit less than 11 rings here, and we're going to go curl against the wind, and we're going to take it as we're going to lose distance. Therefore we cannot use the proper amount of rings with our sniper, as then we might go too short on the right side, cutting the rough as we're going to push our ball back to the right. Still, in the end, not the best of the best shots, but in the end, a safe eagle, and it's not on hole number 2 where we're going to grab an albatross and have that for a win. Sure, if we do make an albatross on this hole, I'm going to be very happy, but in the end it's all about to find a consistent way to make this eagle and maybe be a little bit more focused when it comes to the other hole where we do have as a must eagle, at least a must eagle opportunity at least. So now, while our opponent's making the shot, we're going to go to hole number 3. Hole number 3, let's go, and we're going to play a short par 4 here, and many of the times you will find yourself in a situation where you cannot reach for the green. As you can see on the arrow there, the wind, now we're going to actually have a wind that we could go with. Of course, an Apocalypse level 7 with more topspin would help, but now we're going to have an Apocalypse level 6 and it's definitely going to be okay. The thing to have in mind here is that you will most of the times not clear the rough. If you're lucky enough to get a tiny bit of tailwind with that crosswind, then you should definitely go for it. If you do have a little bit more headwind here, then you should be staying away from this particular shot right away. Now we're going to put ourselves in the bunker. Might be, yeah, close to the rough there. In the end, this is a really good opportunity to making an eagle, and that is also why we're having it in our playthrough. Having that because the wind here is the key on this hole. Everyone knows how, not everyone, but the players that you play in Master knows how to make a drive to lay up on the left side if we do have and then go for a long iron or for a short iron to the pin. But importance here is to show that with a straight side wind or just a tiny little bit of headwind, if it's not strong headwind, then you can reach over to the rough, and if you're lucky enough of making a very good drive, then you can clear the rough and be on the green. But most of the times you're going to stay in the bunker, you're going to stay in the rough, and this is a shot that is a very good opportunity to make an eagle on hole number 3. I thought, like, when going into this tournament, a hole number 3 should be a must eagle, but with this type of wind, it's definitely not. So it's going to be a bonus eagle in my mind, and therefore we're definitely going to at least give ourselves the chance if we do get them. Hit it perfect though, slightly off with our Spitfire, just cutting the hole, but in the end, happy to make that birdie and happy to give ourselves the luxury to know that we actually can reach over the water with that type of wind. So hole number 4 now, and now it's time for us to play with our quarterback. And I would say there's 2 things to have in mind here. If you're going to play with a power 2 or power 3 ball, even though you're playing with a quarterback, or you are playing with or you are playing with the rock or something like that, then you won't be able to stay with a proper adjustment. You will be in between clubs for the rough bump. Then you need to play as Ryan's doing. Use 1.5 bar of backspin with your sniper, and also add 1 ring to your adjustment. That is a tip I got from Brian, and I'm very happy to get that because I haven't been thinking about that one at all. Because, like, you need to adjust a little bit more due to the crosswind that we're having. Then you're going to stay at least for a safe birdie on the green there. Of course, you need to hit the ball perfect. Yeah, you know the drill. And now we are going to play with a power 1 ball, and that is the Bandera ball. Reduces the wind a lot, and also helps us to be possible to adjust for the rough bump. We're going to play this shot in minimum distance of our club, but we're going to adjust for being in medium distance of our club, and that is because we're playing downhill and the ball is going to be affected more by the wind. We're going to have to be very careful with our landing position here, so we're not being too close to the green, as then we could potentially, if we hit our ball great in a bad way or something like that, and then we potentially could put ourselves to coming in and bouncing on the green directly. Almost 8 rings with our adjustment here, coming in a little bit too much to the left in my opinion. going to be close there on the right side, but we need to come in more on the right side to give that little push towards the pin there. So either we can reduce our adjustment just a tiny little bit, or we need to move our landing position a little bit more to the right while adjusting for this particular shot. Hole number 5, and we have the luxury to play Ryan again, and we're going to play this one. Yeah, you will maybe seeing this one as a ridiculous way to show in a tutorial, but in the end this is a par 5 where you can go for the green. Then it's important to show that as well. But now we need to have some luck. We need to have the wind to be able to reach for the green in 1. And the wind I'm talking about is a wind with a snow globe ball or a turbo ball. So I hope you have some of them stuck in your bag. Otherwise you will have to try to play with a Kingmaker or your Berserker ball. But the problem with a Berserker ball, if you're not having like 16.5 miles per hour in wind, I wouldn't be trying with a Berserker ball. Then I need to have more wind with a snow globe ball. So as you can see here, we do have a turbo ball, we do have 17.9 in wind. We're going to use max topspin, and this is a shot that can be applied with this type of wind with Apocalypse 4, 5, 6 and 7. So even though you have a less upgraded Apocalypse, you just need to be lucky here. And I hate that word in a tutorial and how to show how to play a hole, that you need to be lucky with the wind. But in the end, if having the wind, go for the green. That is the thing that you need to do. And with the topspin, roll yourself towards here. Now we didn't get the roll though, but still we're going to be on the fringe, going to have an easy wedge towards the pin for an albatross. And this is going to be a key hole in the tournament, and we will see many players being very happy when they do get the win. Like for an example now, 9.8, if we would be hitting our drive now, we would be having around 15.5 miles per hour with our snow globe, and then it's a no-go. Because then you would put yourself in the rough, and then there is no point doing so. Then I would consider actually to go with a slice with a Kingmaker, to put myself over on the fairway, to maybe have an open shot towards the pin with my long iron or my short iron. But in the end, the wind here do decide that it's going full blast. Close your eyes, hope for some good wind, and go from that. Good shot from our opponent there, absolutely. And we are going to take that albatross here with our wedge. I'm gonna go to hole number 6. And thing that I do with close range ship, especially if we do have this high wind, like 15 in wind, is always a bit nervous and when adjusting for it, even though it's not going to travel that much in the air. But in the end, if hitting the ball great or good or something like that, then we're going to get a ridiculous push in the air. And now we did hit it great on the other side, but still we're going to have no problem to get this one in. Kind of close though, in the end. But an albatross on hole number 5. So, hole number 6, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to play this par 4 with our driver, and we're going to, the ultimate situation would be for us to use like a ball with a high wind resistant, but this play can be played in basically whatever type of driver or type of ball that you do have. And of course a lot of wind resistance do help you to be more proper with your adjustment. When it comes to the adjustment here, no matter if you're having the Kingmaker or a Titan, or you're having a more wind resistant ball, you're adjusting it for your numbers in max position. You are then adding one ring, not going with any type of side spin whatsoever, and going with a slight amount of baby curl. I call it baby curl to the left. I love that expression, baby curl. But to the left, you just count a little bit, especially if you do hit your ball slightly great on the right side. Then you use 5 or 6 bar of topspin. I know you might be stuck in the rough there, but in the end, that is the topspin that you do want to go with. We're going to go with the Kingmaker, as you can see here. Now I've already explained the shot here basically. and we are going to might go with one side spin to the left here, especially if we do have some wind over 10 miles per hour. It's like it's so different playing with a Kingmaker on with this type of wind comparing to a power wind resistant 5. It's a difference of 3 miles per hour. So 10.5. And as you can see there, you do have the baby curl. We do have 1 bar of side spin to the left here on this particular shot as well, due to the high crosswind here. We're going to get the bounce in the rough, we're going to roll out, and we're not going to stay on the green, but we are definitely going to stay on the fairway, even though we're close to the rough. And we take that all day and every day to make that eagle on hole number 6. So, and hole number 6 is a must eagle, even in Master. It's a must eagle in every division that you're playing. And you know, if getting this eagle, you will be on your way for a -13. And of course, bringing something extra there would be a -14, could potentially be a -15, 16 as well for 9 holes. So there is room for a lot of some amazingly good scores. In the end, you have 2 holes where you need to have some wind to be able to get those scores, I would say, in a consistent way. And then it's just in the end, but can you bag that -13 at least, maybe drop on hole in 1 as well, then you will be lethal. And when it comes to when you get the wind on those holes where you maybe just make the par score, or not par score, but you know what I mean, you make on a par 5, I call a par score an eagle, as that is the thing that we need to do. And also, of course, when it comes to par 4, a birdie, and par 3, birdie as well. So, hole number 7, par 3, and now we're going to play with a quarterback or the Thor's Hammer. The rock can also be played, but the thing that we do want to do is basically play like Soren is doing here. Not going to go with that much of side spin there. So might going to go with a little bit less, but in the end I don't blame him for going with that side spin. It's going to be a close one to the rough there, and that is something that we need to have in mind while playing. And you're going to see with my adjustment that I'm going to over adjust this particular shot. So, and our opponent is using a movie ball, and a movie ball do have power 2 combined with wind resistance 4, which will be a very good ball in this particular situation. Coming in, of course, too much to the left here. Went with a line that we're not supposed to be, kind of close, especially not giving the opportunity to bounce a little bit further ahead. So we're going to go with the Thor's Hammer, as you can see here. So it's either the Thor's Hammer, or you're going with the rock or the quarterback. If you're not having the Thor's Hammer level 6 or level 7, then I would go with the quarterback due to the ball guideline and the accuracy that you do have. So we're going to go with 1 bar of backspin, and then we're going to go with 4 bars of side spin to the right. We're going to go straight over the bunker, basically. It's going to be a tough adjustment here, but we're going to adjust this one, even though we are in medium distance. We're going to adjust for maximum distance, then we're adding half a ring. That is the thing that we're going to go with here. As you will be able to see here with this approach that we're having, is that this shot needs to be adjusted more, as we're coming in a little bit too much to the right and also coming in too hot. So we need to use a little bit more backspin as well, but then we do get in a situation where we do play in line with the rough and the bunker. But I would like to have half a ring more in adjustment. We did adjust according to the guide, but we want to have max adjustment with our club combined with adding half a ring, and then going to go with 4 to 5 bars of side spin combined with 1 to 2 bars of backspin. So, okay, we are going to go here on hole number 8, and hole number 8 is going to give us an opportunity for the Thorn if we do play our drive correctly. First and foremost, we're going to go with our opponent's shot here, and we're going to use the same type of reference with the landing position here for our first bounce with our driver. So we're going to actually use the water there on the side to help us out. So hits it perfect, and he's using a movie ball again, as you can see. And the reason you might not have the movie ball in your bag is because the movie ball was a limited edition ball, and it's not something that you can buy or get in any type of way at the moment. And for those that maybe wonder, like with those special balls, it comes from time to time, especially around tournament time, that you will be able to buy them. So we are going to go and use a royal ball here, and the royal ball do have power 4. The reason we're using a power 4 ball is to give ourselves the distance for our second shot. The drive doesn't require it. Then we could go with a power 3 ball, and we can go with a power 3 ball even though we are having a Thor's hammer or like playing in master, and we can go with a power 3 ball, no problem. But in the end, we need to give ourselves the best opportunity to go for the second shot. We're going to adjust this one for 12 rings. As you can see there, in the end we had to overpower this shot just a tiny little bit, as we could needed to stretch it out to get our 12 rings. Get it up here, get that roll, and we get it stopped just close, maybe a little bit too close there, but in the end this is going to be a perfect setup for us to go for the pin. And I'm going with, as you can see, they're going with 6-7 bars of topspin, going to be my normal topspin adjustment, combined with as much side spin to the right as possible. The reason for the side spin is that we do want to kind of counter for the wind that we're going to have, especially if we do hit the grate on the wrong side, which is the left side. Then we're going to have a problem otherwise and be in the rough on the left side. Second shot, it's the Thorn. It's the Thorn that is going to make an appearance. And we do need a backspin here. I would request for you to actually have the Saturn in your bag as well. And the reason our opponent is going to miss this one is that he's not adjusting it wrong. I would say wrong, but in the end he's not thinking about the push that he's going to get with the wind coming in from right to left. And therefore we need to adjust this one from the other side. So we need to take advantage of the bounce that we're going to have, and it's easier to play with the wind and play against the wind. So we're going to set this one up max backspin here, and as you can look here on my yellow ring, as you can get that one close, we want to have our yellow ring not in really this position. We do want to have our yellow ring a little bit more to the right. We're going to want the yellow ring to kind of cut the green first and foremost, and we're going to want it to cut the edge of the cup. And the reason for that is that we're going to get such a push that we're going to go a lot to the left, and that is what you're going to see here now. We're going to come in and we're going to get a good bounce though, but we're coming too much to the left. And that is the thing that we need to count for by doing that particular adjustment. Otherwise, we do adjust our Thorn for being in max distance with our rings. So, last but not least, hole number 9. Hole number 9 is going to be it's pain a little bit actually, because this drive is so tough, and I'm going aggressive here, and I do actually believe you should do the same. I'd rather take an aggressive drive than having to go with still a tough drive and very aggressive second shot, because if we can nail this drive, then we're going to have a pretty easy, especially if you're playing in master, a pretty easy adjustment for your second shot to get yourself to the green. So you will see me going full blast here with a Berserker Ball. And a Berserker Ball, again, is something that you win in master. So if you do not have them, and if you get them, save them. Don't use it in regular tour play. 1.5 bar backspin. And we're going to stretch it out here. Now we're going to have to adjust our shot in, I would say over adjust it with 1.5 ring. Especially when we have to overpower. We need to give ourselves, even though we're adjusting it down, we need to stretch it out so we get into full distance. And then we're going to go with max overpower. Weighted perfect though. We will be too much out to the right here, which is a bit unfortunate because we get a really good push there. Just hit the rough, rolling out there. I should be going with this type of wind, should be going with 1 bar of backspin or reduce the side spin that we are having. But in the end, the importance was to get over there and now we absolutely have a shot for the pin. And even though we had a tougher drive, we're still going to have a tough shot for the green. But in the best of the worlds, we will be clearing the rough and just landing easily there. The importance there is to have backspin on your drive. Even though it does not look like you're going to reach over, it's important to have that backspin. And also the side spin to kind of counter for that we are coming in very, very hot in in a northwest position. So okay, second shot now. The hole is not dead, the eagle is not dead. We can still reach for the green, and in the end, the berserker ball helps us a lot here. And you know, even though we are going to be having to overpower this one, you cannot use topspin to give yourself that particular situation where you want to bounce over the bunker there. Then you need to go with, as most, no topspin whatsoever and no backspin. That would be the most when it comes to having that particular adjustment. I want to try to go over there. Need to use max overpower. Very tough shot, but in the end, bouncing it over the rough and the bunker is going to be way easier, in my opinion, than going in another direction. Get it out to the fairway. Happy with that shot. We did adjust it wrong, as you can see. Even though we did hit it great on the right side, we're still coming way to the left. So apply a couple of bars of side spin for your second shot, and then adjust 2 rings extra with your cataclysm or the big dog in that particular situation, to just counter for that particular push that you will be getting, like getting a push from a 15 or a 16 mile per hour crosswind right to left. Then of course your ball going to travel a lot more to the left than expected. So our opponent here hitting it very close. It's always sad to miss a rough iron while hitting it perfect, but in the end it's a very, very tough hole to make an eagle. Be happy if you do make the eagle, but I will also say, if you're playing master and you're going for the win, then you need to make an eagle, otherwise you will not win. I do see scores in master being around -28 to 32 to win. So it's going to be a tough one to win, but we're going to go for it. My friends, thanks a lot for watching this playthrough for Master Division in the Origin Links tournament. The video was sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and if you do have any questions, please pick up in the comment section below. Good luck in the Origin Links tournament.